All right, welcome everybody to the administrative settings and management of teaching and learning features. In this session, we're going to talk a lot about how do you manage with the teaching and learning upgrade, what kind of things do you get and how do you put them into practice? So a lot of end user things happening today. If you want to get to the slide deck link, it is amped.it/admin settings management, abbreviated. So not the easiest link to get to. Maybe we can make those shorter next time, but there it is for you as well. Just so you know who I am, my name is Kendall Shimura. I'm a Google for Education training consultant with Amplified IT. We are a company, a CDW company as well. And Amplified IT, just so you know who we are, we're a trusted premier partner with Google. We specialize in providing technical consultancy around educational best practices with Google Workspace for Education. We also provide service as a solution or software as a solution tools to help admins get the most out of Google for Education. Today's agenda, since we have a really short time to go to spend together, we're going to do a quick overview of the teaching and learning upgrade. We're going to talk about the Meet tools, the classroom tools, and then do a little bit of time for Q&A. And I have Devin from Google helping me out, feeding me questions as they come in. So as you guys throw questions in, we'll get some of those answered for you if we know the answer today. The recording in the slide deck is going to be here as well. I'll say this now and I'll say this at the end. There were 2 sessions added on the 20th and 22nd of April to kind of register for. So if you haven't registered for those sessions, they were just added. Go back to the same site that you registered for these sessions at, and you can register for the other sessions as well as review the recording after it's published there. So quick overview of teaching and learning. What is the teaching and learning upgrade? It is one of the upgrade options that will be available to you post or on April 14th when the SKU gets released. The teaching and learning upgrade is a way for Google to kind of hone in on enhanced educator tools. How do we focus on just the tools that our educators, our teachers, our end users really need? Because maybe our school is doing all right with the tools we have already in place for security and management, but we need extra tools for those teachers doing remote learning or doing a hybrid type of learning, one of those things. So with the teaching and learning upgrade, I also want to mention that if you do purchase the teaching and learning upgrade, it's one of the licenses that you upgrade via the number of users that you want to have access to these features. So this isn't going to be necessarily a domain-wide purchase. You're going to do more of a, okay, so I have 100 teachers, I need 100 licenses. You're not going to get one for every single student as well, because there's features that they don't need, right? They're not going to be doing live streams in the domain. They're not going to be running originality reports on themselves, or they can already. They're maybe not going to be creating meets and breakout rooms, things like that. So you're only paying for the licenses that are going to use it. In addition to the features that you're going to get upgraded, you also get an upgraded storage amount. So the storage amount, 100 terabytes standard for everybody on fundamentals. But if you purchase teaching and learning upgrade, you will get an additional 100 gigabytes per staff license added to the storage pool, not added to individual accounts. So if you assign an account a license for teaching and learning, you're not saying give this person 100 gigabytes more space. You're saying add 100 gigabytes to the total storage that you have. Just want to be clear about that. Some people get a little confused about how much storage and does this add to my storage. Storage is a pooled storage, collective storage that the 100 gigabyte staff license would add to. So some features that you're going to get: interactive Q&As, polls, breakout rooms, and you can track attendance. That's a huge one. Unlimited originality reports with peer checks. Peer checks is that additional option that you get with teaching and learning upgrade and plus, and then meets with up to 250 participants and up to 10,000 viewers for in-domain live streams. And you also, I didn't mention on there, but you can record those meets and they get saved to Drive. Now, if you're ever trying to compare editions, or maybe you're thinking in the next week or so you want to compare some editions. Oh, my my link broke. I'll have to replace that link there. I'll get you a new link there. It was working yesterday, so maybe a support article got updated. But comparing editions, we will get you an article on that, but it'll let you see side by side who has what option. Also, I want to mention that coming soon, there are going to be classroom add-ons to directly integrate your favorite tools and content. So those are an option for you as well. And there will be more added to it as well. I also wanted to just pop in real quick and just say, we do have this. So hold on one second. We do have the additions. Thanks, Devin. There we go. Here's the additions. And here are the different comparisons that you have as well. So you can kind of compare across and then do a comparison if you want to read more about them. All right, awesome. So it's coming soon. We're excited about that as well. We're excited to have more add-ons that can connect to Google Classroom, add more functionality to it as well. First things first we want to talk about is our Meet tools. So Meet tools, you get additional Meet functionality when you sign up for Teaching and Learning Upgrade, and it is only for those accounts that have the license applied to them. So just remember that as we go through that. But recording meetings and saving to Drive is one of the features. Live streaming up to 10,000 in-domain users is a feature as well. Again, you're not going to apply this license to your students probably, hopefully, so they're not going to be live streaming up to 10,000 people in your domain. Noise cancellation is part of it. Breakout rooms, polls, Q&A, and the ability to track attendance is a huge one. So these are all really nice features, and these are all going to be features that we can utilize on our day-to-day usage. But again, in order to do this, you're going to have a license applied to you. So I just wanted to make sure to mention these ones to you. And some of these ones you may have played with already, and some of these I'll be able to demo a little bit easier for you. But let me, without giving too much away, let me jump into a little live demo here. And let me get my Meet open. There we go. So from here, I'm just going to create a meeting. And I'm going to join. And so that I don't have crazy feedback, I'm going to turn everything off. There we go. But here is a couple of things you need to know about Meet. So now that we have Meet here, we have this shield icon, which is your host controls. This is one thing that everyone that's using Meet now should be looking at. So with Meet, you can turn on or off quick access. Quick access, when turned off, everyone who isn't invited must ask to join, including people in your org. So even though they're in your organization, they can normally just join a Meet. They have to ask, because you're saying as the host, you're saying, I only want the people I invited to join, and if somebody else wants to join in, then I want to be approving them. I don't want somebody just dropping into our meeting. So they can turn that off. You can say, are you going to let everyone share their screen? Maybe in class, if you're using this for teaching and in class, you say, nope, not going to be able to share your screen. I'm the only one that's sharing their screen today. Can everyone use chat? Nope. We can turn off send chat messages. So we can really try and, with the host control, focus people back on what we're doing, the presentation, right? The screen that we're sharing, the talk that we're having, the lecture that we're having, the discussion that we're having. Those are more options. So you have this option to launch this whole screen if you want. But just so you know, if you turn off quick access, you have to join first. And then people that are invited can join after. And then everyone else has to ask. And then people can't join anonymously, which is the big one as well. All right. Once we have our host controls all set up and determine what we want to do inside of here, we can come up to the shapes here or activities, and we can set up things like breakout rooms. And I can go ahead and configure breakout rooms. I can have up to 100 breakout rooms. So I'm just going to put like 1 billion and it'll default to 100, but you can have up to 100 breakout rooms. I don't know in what case you would have 100 breakout rooms. You can drag and drop people into here. You can type a name in and it'll look for whoever's in the session. So if you have a long drag and drop, you can just type names in. You can randomly shuffle people into rooms, which I think is a great option for kind of moving people into spaces. When you don't really care what the groups look like, you just need small groups of about 4 or 5. You can click shuffle and it'll move people. You can clear all your rooms and bring everyone back to the main call. You can set a timer and send end breakout rooms after this much time. So you can say 5 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes. It'll give people a little bit of a warning before they are told they need to come back to the room. It doesn't kick them back into the room, though. They do have to click, I think it's leave or rejoin main room, just so you know. So if anybody ever gets stuck and says, oh, it didn't push me back into the main room, they just have to click. It prompts them. They just have to click it to come back to the main room. So that's your breakout rooms, and it's really easy to use. Once you get into a breakout room, though, I do want to say a couple of things. Breakout rooms, the chats in the breakout rooms are not recorded. So just remember that those are not recorded. And when you return to the main call, there will be a refreshed chat log. So those will be a refreshed chat log. So just a couple of caveats about the breakout rooms to note, and just some things for you to be aware of. In addition to breakout rooms, we can set up polls. And the polls are so easy to set up and so easy to use. Is it sunny outside? And I will just go ahead and say yes or no. And click launch. And it launches the poll, and people can go in and they will have that poll, and you can say show everyone the results or don't show the results, end the poll, trash a poll, create a poll. Really easy, quick way to take a pulse on what's going on in your meetings, what's going on in your talks. So the polls is a great way to kind of have those quick touch bases, quick surveys to see where everyone is at. Q&A is a great way to ask questions. You can turn on Q&A, and then you allow questions. People put a question in, they get added here. I'm just going to ask a question. How does this work? And then you could say, okay, hide this one, mark as answered, or delete the question. So this is a great way for your questions to come in here. And if you mark it as done, you can see it, but you can see unanswered, answered, and hidden. So you can see any questions that haven't been answered and come in and answer those. People can also upvote questions. And this is really nice for people to be able to upvote these questions so that they can say, this is important to me, I need to know more. If you remove a student, good question. If you remove a student, how do they get back into Meet was the question. If you remove a student, they can rejoin using the calendar invite or the code that they were using before. If they accidentally close a tab, here's a little trick for you. If you accidentally close a tab on a Chrome browser, Control-Shift-T will open the previously closed tab. So that's another option. But they can reuse the same link that they got from their calendar to go into that calendar Meet. All right. All right. We also wanted to point out a couple of things as well, that if you can record meetings, so that is an option for you to record these meetings. And once you have those meetings recorded, that's really going to save to your drive and be able to use that pretty regularly. Now, for live streaming, we don't currently have it turned on for us, but it would be in this option when you open this up. And then from Ashley, even with quick access turned off, they can rejoin via calendar invite. Oh, sorry. If you have quick access turned off, if they're not a part of the calendar invite, they would have to ask to rejoin. If they are a part of the calendar invite, they should be able to rejoin because you've invited them. Yes. All right. And then how do I get back over here? Here we go. So I also want to talk, while we have some time, about the classroom tools. That's kind of our Meet tools. Wanted to show you where things were and how they are laid out. I should probably end that Meet, though, while I'm here. I should just end the call so I'm not in a Meet. There we go. But I also want to talk a little bit about classroom tools while you're here. And the classroom tool that you're really going to get with teaching and learning is going to be that originality reports. And the big one here is this new peer comparison option. Peer comparison only comes with Teaching and Learning Upgrade and with Education Plus. So in order to use the peer-to-peer comparison within your own domain, you have to have one of these two versions. Just so you know how originality reports work, they search all pages accessible by Google Search and Google Books, but not Google Scholar. And they look for passages and uncited work and flag them as they find them. If you're curious a little bit more about how originality reports work, here is another little option and a little bit of FAQs. Does it do this? Does it do this? Does it check this? How does this work? So just some good information for you here. All right. So originality reports, peer comparison, that is the big one. But have you seen originality reports in person? And if not, I want to show you what it looks like here. Where am I? There we are. Sorry, scanning through a bunch of tabs here. Okay, so when you're in Classroom, when you go to an assignment and you click on a student, you can go to their essay. And if you click on their essay, it'll launch you to their work, which will allow you to review their work. If you have a rubric in here, it'll allow you to grade the work. You can add private comments to the work as well, give it a grade overall. But what you will see up here is it'll say run originality report. And if you click that, it'll run for 30 seconds to a minute, and it'll come back with any flagged passages if it finds it. If not, great. If it finds a flagged passage, you click on it, and it will actually come down and highlight the flagged passage and show you. If you click on web matches, oh, look, there you go. Students passage is this. The web match is this, right? So it looks like the top web match, and it opens up to there, and you can actually look and see if it's actually in here, right? So what Originality Reports allows me to do, what Originality Reports really allows me to do is it allows me to double check that my students are citing their work correctly. It is also going to check peer-to-peer reviews now. So the benefit of doing it through Teaching and Learning Upgrade or Education Plus is that you get unlimited originality reports, but it is also going to check against peer-submitted work. So it's going to check internal Drive for any work that's been submitted by another student in another course against the work that has just been submitted. So, one of the things that's really beneficial is over time, kids are storing more and more stuff in their Drive. They don't realize it because they move on. They started maybe in 6th grade, maybe they're in 11th grade. All of their work that they've done in Drive has been stored in there and is still saved in there unless they permanently deleted it. What that means is that maybe they have a younger sibling or a friend that's taking a class that they used to take, and they say, oh yeah, that's easy. I got a paper here. Just copy some of the stuff out of my paper. It will actually double check against your paper and the paper that already exists in Drive. So that is a really nice feature. I cannot emphasize that enough. Otherwise, it's going out to the web and making sure your students aren't plagiarizing off the web. But so many times, being a former teacher myself, so many times it wasn't plagiarism from the web I was worried about. It was plagiarism from other students. Reusing work, reusing sentences, reusing paragraphs, right? And a lot of that work turned into more of my investigations that I had to do. So that's the originality reports. That's how it works. And it is it's a pretty nice process to have the ability to check for originality while you're grading it as well. So I wanted to make sure to point that out to you. And you can do that with anybody that's turned in their work. So if I come over to here, I want to see if there it is. It says check plagiarism originality. And then when you run it, I'm just going to run it here. And it takes about 30 seconds to a minute here. And I just want to see if it catches anything. 3 flagged passages, click on it. Boom, there we go. We have 3 passages. The percentage is 62% flagged content. But you can see 2 cited or quoted passages, and you can bring those up. If somebody did cite them or quote them correctly, you can have those highlighted. But really, we're mostly concerned about the fact that these are matches. So these are matches, these are matches, these are matches. All right. So originality reports, something that your teachers will 100% want to take advantage of. And if they aren't already, again, unlimited originality reports with the ability to do peer-to-peer reviews is a great way. They also have some originality reports in foreign languages now. I know it's expanded beyond where it was before. I think we're up to 6 or 7 foreign languages. So that's also beneficial. I think a lot of the majorly spoken languages are in there at this point, but I'd have to double check on exactly which ones it is. But it is nice to have all of your originality reports, everything live inside of there. It's not like turnitin.com that you have to pay for, where you have to send off your documents. They store it somewhere all on their own file solution. It's all stored within your domain. So it's all kept local, which means that your data is protected. So we're really excited about this one. Teaching and Learning Upgrade. Again, to recap, Teaching and Learning Upgrade, really great for your teachers, educators, people that are going to be using these tools on a regular basis. Not necessary to buy for all of your students because they're not going to be recording meets or hosting classes where they have to run unlimited originality reports and so on. So I want to give us a chance to ask some questions. I know that some questions have been coming in, but any questions that I could answer for you today? And I know Devin's kind of feeding those across, so if you have them, make sure you are putting in your questions. Yeah, and just to show you, I got the question about the admin tool. Let me show you real quick. Where is my admin? I think here I can go up here. I'm just going to exit out of this. So let me just get signed in real quick. So for the Meet tools, I just want to show you Meet real quick. Let me just get this bigger. Whoops, that's big enough. So for Meet tools, we're going to go to Apps, Google Workspace, Meet, Google Meet. And we have under Meet video settings, this is where you can decide who can make video calls. So the big thing for Meet is who can make video calls. And so you can say for students, they are not allowed to set up a video call, but for staff, they can. And then you can also say for attendance reporting, whether or not you want attendance reports to be allowed for your staff. And we would say at this point, we would say, yeah, we would leave that on. Live streaming, you can also say whether or not somebody can live stream. So maybe you want to keep live streaming to like a really small group. You could turn off live streaming here, go to groups, do a search, and you could turn on live stream for a group of individuals, like 4 or 5 people versus the entire organizational unit for live streams. Live streams only go up to 10,000 users with teaching and learning. So if you have more than that, you might want to, stagger your presentations, but that's how this would work. That's where the streaming would be. And for Classroom, there is no setting for originality reports. So there's nowhere for us to turn on or off or affect originality reports. Those are all done natively within Classroom. So really the only admin console settings that we have for this are going to be under Google Meet for our stream and attendance reporting here. You can also block people from recording if you don't want everyone to record. You can allow only some people to record if you're worried about everyone recording meetings that are going to take up tons of space within your domain. Just so you know, the recordings from Meet are processed and they get shrunk down as well. So those won't take up as much space as you might think they will. All right. Any other questions out there for me? Happy to answer anything you guys got. Okay. Yeah, so these are the main admin controls. Glad I could review those. And I think for Meet and for Classroom, I think that might be it for the admin tools. Otherwise, we just want to remind you that there are 2 more sessions on April 20th and the 22nd. Those are 2 more sessions after the new SKUs are released, the new editions are out. So you can go back to the website and re-register register for those events, 20th and 22nd. The recording will be available as well from the same link where you registered to get to the event. So you'll be able to see the recording later on as well. Oh, I had one more question come in. Are the video calls and live streaming settings going to default to off? Oh, good question. It depends on what you normally set under your account settings. If you say manual, turn it on for services and accounts, that would be that. But normally, those are settings that you would want to come in and double check. I believe they come in as on for us because we have our domain set this way, but you'd want to double check that your domain is set a certain way. It depends on what your account settings are set to. And then any admin controls for originality reports, there are not at this time. So Thomas, there are no admin controls for originality reports at this time. So right now it is all managed from the classroom by the teacher over there. All right. Cool. And then just want to make sure you know we do have support for upgraded editions through Amplified IT if you need it, and the information is available to you. And then other than that, I just want to say thank you to Google. Thanks, Devin, for monitoring the chat and passing those along. Otherwise, thank you all for showing up today. Happy you guys could be here for the session. Hopefully this was helpful, informative, and don't forget about the 2 additional sessions on the 20th and 22nd. All right. Everyone have a good rest of your day. Have a good weekend. Hope it's nice and sunny wherever you are. And we hope to talk to you again soon. Thank you so much.